We are live in Facebook.
Awesome.
Should we call that? Is that a fig? Is that present? It is. Giant figs? Paper figs. You want your microphone on? My phone? The microphone is on. You want it on?
Have y'all had a glass of wine yet?
No.
Let's see. You got that presentation rocking and rolling, Richard?
Yes, sir. It's ready to go.
Sweet. I guess we're waiting on Sammy.
A little more unusual this time around because we're trying 3 Italian varietals as a blend, and so I gave kind of the classic information on it, but obviously the Texas expression is going to be different. So
for sure. We got about 5 more minutes.
I'm Richard. That's our winemakers on Tony. Okay.
Is he on? Yeah. Oh, there he is. All right. Hello.
Hey. Welcome.
Thank you. I haven't started video. There we go.
Sammy's not on yet.
No, we're still waiting for Sammy. He should be coming.
Hey, Alicia.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. What about yourself?
Not bad. Not bad. Just like everybody else, just sort of bored with isolation.
Oh, I hear you. Even my cat, like my cat just heard me talk and she's right here. Like she just jumped from the window, like, oh, there's more people. We have friends. Yeah, there she is. She wants to join the meeting.
Oh, look at her.
Like, yes, this is how we friend. Look, say hi to people.
Look, pretty color.
They're cute.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I think it's weird that I don't know how I look to you guys, but yeah, it looked really, really sort of washed out. I think it's the camera on this computer. So I have tried different lights. This is natural light. I'm facing the window now, and it's actually fairly dark in this room. So
It's probably trying to compensate, and it's probably trying to open up when it shouldn't.
Yeah. Since you worked in movies, Harry, maybe I need to get you over here sometime. Need better.
It could get expensive.
Just give him a few
I'll buy you
drops.
your wine.
Yay. How's it going, everyone?
Hey, Sammy. Carl.
We're getting ready with our wines, and today we've got the heel of the boot. Here, let's say hi to our main man right here, Vito Rossini.
Hi, everybody.
So a few of you signed up for the charcuterie board, so we're going to be highlighting that, and then he'll come on shortly to tell us what he thought paired best with the wine. So we'll be right back, actually, with the board.
Good, how are you?
And the alcohol content on this one is 14.1. So drink carefully.
Recommend.
Guess we opened it. I mean, I can
Yeah.
get one of the aerial things if you want me to.
No, I don't think it needs it.
It just looks like I have a very small head compared to yours.
Well, yeah, maybe we should get you a cushion to sit on.
Yes, but it won't let me. Okay, start.
Woo! They're out inside.
Oh.
Wish I could be there.
Hold on. Oh, goodness. Can they hear me?
Is Josh there with you guys, Sammy?
No, he's doing some work. He's gonna be possibly missing this one. So,
okay. And
looks
Kevin
like
didn't inherit the bottle.
Closer. Okay.
yeah, I gotta keep it going. Got the Zoom call. The weekend wino.
Yeah.
Or or let's call it a little bit better, weekend warrior wine.
There you go.
There you go.
Got to keep pushing through.
It was on mute.
What is it that Josh had done something to the website and it ended up abbreviating it to Swinos?
Yeah.
So it's Wine Society, but it's a Swine Society. Swine Society is what it is.
Yeah, the good thing is we got it all uploaded, all the past videos uploaded to the website and whatnot. So
Oh, cool.
go back and watch them and learn some stuff that you don't necessarily pick up because you're drinking a little too much during the deal. And it's always better to go back and watch the videos when you're not drinking.
Yeah, I did go back to the last one, and those were fairly high alcohol wines. I misspelled Cinsault, I mispronounced Cinsault, and I asked a bunch of dumb questions. So I think I'd rather forget that one.
It's all good, Gio.
Where can I get that?
I was looking at it because I take the prior and copy it for the new and for the basis of the next one. And I'm looking at that like, oh, that's misspelled. And then I'm like, oh, great. I said it wrong too. So
wait until after the meeting starts to start drinking.
Yeah, so I'm going to wait until.
Yeah, I just wanted to, sorry guys, I was bouncing back and forth, but Vito just ran back to the kitchen. He's excited to show you guys what he's got cooking. He created a little small plate there for you guys. I know this is virtual. Hopefully now that quarantine's loosening up a little bit, we'll be able to have some of his delicious food here on site. He hooked it up with some cool meats and cheeses I cannot even pronounce either. So
that's cool.
But we'll have these more. Now that Richard had a great idea. So as quarantine becomes lessened up, you know, more and more, we're going to start doing these hybrid virtual wine tastings where people can come here on site. We can gather together, obviously, safe distance apart. And then feature the winemaker and everybody else that's on the Zoom call here on our TVs around our tasting room. So that way we can either drink together, no matter, you know, no matter where we are. So with that, would like to raise a little glass with everyone to get this, what is this, the 5th or 6th weekend together? 6th weekend.
Yeah.
Sunday, everyone. And Tony, thank you so much for jumping on the call. Let's get it going. Cheers, y'all.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Do you guys want me to turn on the presentation already?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see here.
Okay.
All right. And there we go. All right, guys. So yes, we've got this time Chris 2017 Wanderer Series Italian, brought to you by the Austin, Texas Wine Society and our website there. There's been some new stuff there, so go have a look. Founders, Jake, who's on, Josh, who's working, and myself. High table, we've got Sammy, we've got Alicia, we've got Sean McKinney, Michael Stapleton, and Carl Enriquez. So I believe we got most of those guys on today. Hosted by Wanderlust Wine Company. Special wine guest celebrity, Tony Offill from William Chris, a winemaker. I like this picture really quite a bit. It's very neat. I guess that's maybe winter, Christmas sometime. Oh, I don't know. It's little lanterns. We're going to be tasting wines that come from the Texas High Plains AVA. So up in between Amarillo and Lubbock, and in a fairly high elevation from 2,800 feet to 4,000 feet above sea level. You know, the positioning, you wonder a lot of times why a lot of our grapes come from there, is the positioning provides a really good environment. It's long, hot summers, which we definitely associate with Texas. That allows the grapes to mature and ripen to proper sugar levels. And then cool evenings because of the elevation, which helps the grapes' acidity levels for the winemaking. This one is a little different than what we've had before. It's a fairly even, almost a, you know, kind of somewhat an even split of Nebbiolo, Zinfandel, and Sangiovese from different vineyards, but all from the Texas High Plains. What the characteristics that we're going to be getting from these is, the Nebbiolo giving some body to the blend, Sangiovese bringing some brightness, tart fruit, and Zinfandel, which is known as Primitivo in Italy, contributing richness to the fruit. The blending of the components, vinified, matured separately, and then they blend them. They were 21 months in 30% new oak before being blended. What's nice about this particular one is a 2017 vintage, according to the website, will go down as one of the best vintages of the decade. Plenty of dry, warm, sunny days and cool nights, resulting in a textbook perfect growing season. So this is a nice special wine that we've got here. Because of the differences, so we've got Nebbiolo, we've got Zinfandel, we've got Sangiovese, but there is a little bit of a running theme through them. So the Nebbiolo is a little more floral. You've got rose, which is a nice characteristic that you'll find in Barolos and Barbarescos. Now, these are the classic sort of characteristics from the Italian varietals. You know, what we get in Texas will be, up to our noses and palates. But there is the little running theme of sort of fruits and leather. Again, for Zinfandels, you get a little more jammy, a little more stewed fruit. And same thing with Sangiovese. You get prunes and spice and tobacco. You also get a little bit of smoke and black pepper and Zinfandel. So these are, interestingly, they're kind of almost sort of run through each other as a blend. So it'll be quite interesting to see this. For food pairings, this foods that work well with high tannin and high acidity: beef cuts, ribeye, prime rib, and also sausages, duck, and pork shanks. Now, the classic pairing with Nebbiolo is ossobuco, which is one of my favorite things in the world, and I actually I make quite often. So it'd be nice if this is going to pair up with that well. And then usually, like I said, I always put my sources in the back of this. So what we will go to now is to Tony and let him start talking about his wonderful wine.
Hey guys, I'm Tony. This wine isn't going to be like your typical Italian Nebbiolo from Piedmont or like a Sangiovese from Central Italy or anything like that. It's going to be a lot more fruit forward. With the Texas climate, especially the Texas High Plains, we do have about an average of mid 90s high temperatures. And then in the evenings, it'll get down maybe to 70, mid 60s, something like that. But those are still really high temperatures. So you're going to have high pHs. You're going to have really big fruit aromas. And in Italy, you're getting a little bit, you're still getting fruit aromas, but you're getting a lot of the secondary characteristics. So the tobacco, smoke, kind of those
leather.
Leather. This one is sort of a fruit bomb. The Nebbiolo on this one really contributes to the mouthfeel. It's really big on your tongue. It's viscous. It's got a lot of body to it. That's mostly the Nebbiolo. And then the Sangiovese and the Zinfandel are all up front. It's nose, it's red cherries, tart fruits. But I really like this wine. It's sort of, the whole Italian, or the whole Wanderer series label that we started is to kind of introduce people to varietals that we don't typically work with. We work with a lot of Rhone varietals, Mourvedre, and so Grenache, and a lot of Bordeaux varietals. So Cab, Merlot, Malbec. And this is the very first time we've worked with Nebbiolo, and we kind of fell in love with it. So we're looking at it this year too. We just got back from the High Plains. We went last week, and everything's kind of looking pretty good. So we're excited.
Very cool. So one thing I remember from stomp training was that the Nebbiolo, the name comes from fog eater. So it needs some kind of cool wetness to be happy. How's it getting that in the High Plains?
So the soil in the High Plains is an Amarillo fine sandy loam, like you said earlier. It's over limestone. So depending on where you are, is kind of the depth of the sandy loam changes, right? So it'll be about 18 inches in some places and all the way down to about 4 feet. And then you hit limestone. And you want, like you said, a little bit of wetness, Nebbiolo. So it grows really well on those, on the soils that are around 18 inches to 2 feet with limestone underneath. You don't have as much drainage when you get rain or when you irrigate or anything like that.
Tony, once again, thank you so much for coming on board, man. So I am excited to have this bottle of wine here in front of us. It's from the Wanderer series. I was like, what a more perfect wine to have today, with Wanderlust.
There you go.
Definitely at some point we'll love to do a collaboration with you guys, specifically for something on tap, of course, because we're doing here 56
sure.
on tap, something exclusive for the peeps here on the call. But this wine, they were telling me, so this is, I think overall y'all's model has turned to like wine club member exclusive kind of deal. So this, from my understanding, was a wine that was exclusive to the wine club members, but we were able to make a few phone calls, y'all. So
yay, Sammy.
But the Wanderer series, like, what has been kind of your philosophy behind this? How would that deviate from the traditional William Chris style, or is it just new varietals, experimental varietals that you guys were like, let's do it, let's hit it?
It's exactly that. It's experimental varietals. We've only done Zinfandel twice in our 10-year history. So, and Nebbiolo, this was the first time for Nebbiolo too. So it was sort of like just a creative project to find interesting varietals that we can teach people about. I mean, we do 170 tons of Mourvèdre every year, and not really many people know about Mourvèdre. So that's really a good teaching opportunity. And we kind of wanted to branch out into different varietals and see if we can't stay with the theme of let's teach people about these different varietals, these different regions in the world, and how they grow here in Texas.
I noticed by accident as I put my glass, I crossed it over, it caught a little bit of the light, and so it's got that classic orange ring, telling you that Nebbiolo is there.
Yeah, that's definitely Nebbiolo in there.
Yeah, even at 38%, it's still very definitely orange around the outside rim of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't a blend that you usually would find in Italy, is it? Because Nebbiolo, Piedmont. And these would be, more central, your Sangiovese would be more central Italy. So this is unusual, but it's really good. I like it.
Yeah, so when this fruit came in 2017, we didn't really have a plan for it at the time. Most of our stuff, we have specific paths that we take. But this one, it looked really, really good in the vineyard. Mm-hmm. And so we brought the Nebbiolo in first. And we always do quite a bit of Sangiovese. And then the Zinfandel came in and it looked just smoking good. And so we kind of figured Nebbiolo and Zinfandel were going to kind of go together. We'll make a blend. It'll be like an Italian blend. We were really excited about it, but it was just sort of missing that tart fruit acid component that we wanted. And so that's Sangiovese came in.
When you say really good, are you tasting the grapes? Or are you analyzing the grapes? Or is it just a condition? Or
it's everything. So the chemistry was really good on it. So the sugar levels, the pH levels, all looked phenomenal on it. And you can tell when a parcel of fruit comes in, kind of where it's going to go. It's, with the harvesters up there, they have an onboard destimmer, and it looks, you can just tell this is going to be really good. The skins were really thick on the Zinfandel. It was very, very light purple. You just tell it was going to make a really good wine.
Okay. All right, cool.
All righty, Tony. So we're sipping, we're having a good time. And all right, so a quick little, I guess, fact that I found out about Asian culture when they drink wine is that they have this game where they always look to their neighbors to see if their glasses are almost empty, and then immediately they fill it up again. So if you guys are sharing some wine, definitely take care of your brothers and sisters next to you and keep their glasses half full. But hey, let's talk about, so I opened this up. I didn't have enough time to decant it too much, but as soon as I poured it in the glass, I was like, all right, I'm getting a little bit of this funk. Is that more of y'all's style? You just kind of like, is it more a lower intervention kind of deal, especially with the Wanderer series? Or is it something that the varietal itself here in Texas is providing a little bit more of that extra umph in your nose?
So yeah, that was sort of a, like you said, a low intervention path on the Zinfandel. We wanted to do, most of our stuff is kind of low intervention, but the Zinfandel specifically we're going to kind of just let it do its own thing. It looks so good. And then it went into all neutral barrels that were probably, on average, probably 6 years old. So you have all these wines that have been put in, taken out, put in, taken out. So you're getting this wood that really isn't adding anything except for maybe depth on the nose and depth on the palate.
So as a little treat,
more medium body than I would have expected from these kinds of grapes. I really do like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a little,
mostly,
oh, go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
That's mostly the Nebbiolo for me. It was, Nebbiolo is kind of deceiving. Like you said, it's sort of that lighter, it's lighter color. It's got a little bit of a copper color to it, but it
more translucent. Yeah.
The boldness on your mouth is really how it contributed to this wine.
Yeah, because obviously, a Sangiovese or a Zinfandel can take over. So
I wanted to bring a little challenge. I hope you're ready for the challenge here. But I brought the man himself from Italy right here, Vito from Heel of the Boot. And I was like, all right, man, we're trying some Italian varietals here. What is your take on this? Does this bring you back home a little bit, or are we representing Italy right here within our soils? So we'll pass it over to him. Vito, is this a yes? What?
Yes, definitely. I feel home. Likely. Yeah, it's pretty good wine, and it's a medium body that, I will suggest to pair, talking about food, with a nice, maybe light tomato sauce, pasta dish, always cheese, like soft, semi-aged cheese. It's pretty good. And everything is around vegetables also, just to pair carrots with crackers, everything that is lovable.
Sweet. And like I said, y'all, once we get more into this non-quarantine phase, we'll have more of this stuff here on site where you guys can try from Vito's perspective that could pair well. And so like he was just mentioning, he actually created that little board to see how it would pair well. And so the carrot take for me was interesting. I was like, you can really pair some carrots with some wines, but I'll tell you what, Doc, it paired pretty well.
Hey, is Vito still there?
Yes, he is.
Can you ask him? So when we were talking about this idea, we were using the word charcuterie, but there was actually an Italian word for it. So I wanted him to.
Yes. So basically, the name is tagliere misto.
Tagliere misto.
Tagliere is the board, the wood.
Right.
And we call it basically tagliere. And depends if you use mixed products like cheeses and meat, you call misto.
Misto, right.
In that case, is a charcuterie called maybe as a French, yeah. they call it, in this case,
right. Yeah, so I wanted to tag this with its proper Italian name. So tagliere. Very cool.
And normally I would have gone, Tony, into featuring your Mourvèdre, because Mourvèdre, I think you guys do a phenomenal job there at William Chris. I did this program. If you guys are ever bored or want to pursue wine outside of the U.S., there's a program called the OIB MSc where you get to travel to 27 countries in the course of 11 months, and you get your Master's of Science in Wine Management. So I'll put the link here on the page if you guys are ever interested in that. But they always ask at the beginning and at the end of the program to bring something from your home state, home region. And so I was looking and I was like, man, who do I take? Pedernales, McPherson, like Calais. And I was literally at the airport too. And this was also a different issue because I couldn't fly with the wine because I had multiple stops. But we figured it out. But I tasted y'all's Mourvèdre at the airport and it blew my mind. And I took the Pednat too because in France, they love natural stuff. And so, but the Mourvèdre from Lost Straw. And so I think in itself, do you think that is the place then for Mourvèdre if people are looking to source wines from? I guess you guys have pretty much an exclusivity to Lost Straw, but I think they produce a Mourvèdre themselves, and they might also sell some grapes out there.
Yeah, we take the lion's share of the Mourvèdre off Lost Straw Vineyards, but they do. So Lost Straw Cellars also produces a little bit of their Mourvèdre. That vineyard is unlike vineyard in the High Plains. You can have, so you have Lost Straw, La Pradera, Phillips Family Vineyards. You have Alta Loma. They're all kind of right around each other, probably a 5-mile radius. And it's Lostraw Mourvedre is like any other Mourvedre from that region. It's and Andy Timmons does a really good job. He's the owner vineyard manager of Lostraw Vineyards.
Awesome.
Hey Tony, you talked earlier. You were talking about whether or not you irrigate or if it's just naturally. Is there a common practice seemingly growing out in the hill country? Like, is it common to irrigate just because of the lack of rain, or is it a mixed bag?
No, it's very common to irrigate. It's hot and dry. Almost every single vineyard that I know of in the Texas High Plains has a drip line irrigation.
Do you have to protect against hail out there?
Yeah, so hail is a pretty big problem, and we're kind of, for the longest time it was, you get punched in the face one time and then you don't learn, and then you get punched in the face the second time, and then, oh, we're going to put hail netting up now, kind of a thing.
So 2017, I guess you didn't have a lot of problems. So you considered it one of your best years.
Oh yeah, so 2017 and 2018 were two of the best vintages that I've ever been a part of. I've been making wine for, 8 years now. This upcoming vintage will be my 9th harvest. And it was just absolutely perfect conditions the entire time. Early rains in the spring, so right about now we're in bloom. We just got through bloom. So in 2017, you have early rains, and it starts to get drier. The farther you go, the closer you get to July, August, September. So you have really good ripening. A little bit cooler temperatures at night, which give you a little bit more acidity. It kind of the pH levels come down a little bit at night as it cools down. But it was 17 and 18 were absolutely fantastic years. Yeah.
So how long do you think you could store this one for to soften those tannins just a little bit?
Yeah, there's still a little bit of grittiness on it. I think this wine could easily go another 5 years, maybe even. It's still a touch up front. You can feel it on the tip of your tongue a little bit. Yep. It's not necessarily green tannin, but it's still a lot up front. And as it ages, it'll start to smooth back. And,
yeah. It's completely different than what I expected from the grapes listed. I as soon as I poured it, I'm like, whoa, that's Pinot coming out of there.
Yeah.
It's very good again.
And this is awesome. So last week we had another Italian blend from Ready Vineyards, and this is we finally got some more in stock. But it's interesting to see different styles of different styles of Italian blends being made here in Texas. And you guys are definitely doing a great job of diversifying your portfolio. That's perfect. We're killing this bottle real quick.
Yeah,
it's not good. We can give it some more years. And the thing
14.1.
Yeah. Thing is here, in today's generation, we're not the type of consumer, or the average consumer is not going to be the one that holds their wines for a long time. We like it, and we like it now. On demand, baby. Uber, DoorDash, everything's on demand. And so, I think this wine, you guys did a great job in terms of either having it accessible for today, but also with the ability to age it a little bit. I think I'm excited for Nebbiolo here in our state. I'm a huge fan of that varietal. High acidity. The color is so romantic. Look at this color. As a whole, it's a blend, but you guys still rocked it. And last week we had the rosé from Ready Vineyards, and my God, that was a beautiful salmon color. I think Greg right there on the TV, he's got a Wanderlust shirt. He's got the color of the rosé we had last week. There we go, Greg. Yeah. So, in terms of color, we're talking about the art of making the perfect balance in the color. Otherwise, you're adding some chemicals or things, processing agents that are going to either take away some of the color, but can also take some, flavors or aromas along the process. But this color itself, it's light, it's delicate, it's beautiful, and summer's coming quick, y'all. So this is like a nice porch pounder. It is, I mean, it is making us hungry right now. That's why we're killing these charcuterie boards. But would you guys say at William Chris, you guys would have, your flagship is Mourvedre, but is it y'all's goal to continue experimenting and just being that power horse of experimentation here in Texas, just to continue that spirit of, you know, we might be onto something, the next best thing, you know? Or are you guys pretty much bound to, we found the secret, Mourvedre, we're going to stick to it? What's your thought process over the next like 5 years for William Chris?
We're definitely going to stay with Mourvedre just because we love it so much. It's almost bulletproof in a vineyard. It can take a rain. It usually takes a freeze pretty well. We also, so our 3 big, maybe 4 big grapes are Mourvedre, Sangiovese, Tannat, and Merlot. But we're always going to be branching out and see what we can do. We've used Riesling before. Cinsault was another big one for us. The Nebbiolo in the vineyard this year looks absolutely fantastic, so I'm sure we're going to get quite a few tons of that this year. Zinfandel is always fun to work with. But Mourvedre is sort of our mainstay. It's always going to be there. And it just produces an absolutely fantastic wine.
So these were from the grapes from this were from Paca Vineyards, Nara, and Phillips. Are they higher elevation, lower elevation, or just kind of middle? Or
they're kind of central Terry County. Okay. So when you go up to the high plains, you're going up onto the Cap Rock, right? So the elevation ranges from 3,000 feet to about 4,000 feet. This is probably in the middle of that, maybe 3,500 feet. Further west you go, the higher you get. But all of these vineyards are within, like I said, a 5-mile radius. So they're about the same elevation, 3,500 feet or so.
Now, obviously, you know, there's a state line there. Is there an AVA for New Mexico just on the other side of that?
I have no idea, actually.
Right.
I know that they have vineyards right across the border, but I don't know if it's an actual viticulture area. Okay.
I was just curious because, yeah, obviously, you know, our borders don't generally just stop stuff. So.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, I snuck out for a little bit from the winery to come and show you guys. We were talking about Italian wine, so of course I had to show you the Italian chef in action. We're inside the heel of the boot, y'all. So one of the things we're trying to do here at some point, probably after a year of operations at Wanderlust Wine Company, is, you know, we'll look at our strong regulars. Obviously, you guys are going to get the invitation. But we're going to basically offer, hopefully, a package where we can go and visit Vito's hometown in Puglia, and then we can actually have direct Italian food and wines from the region itself. So we just want to see what the Italian chef has got going on here today. Mr. Vito.
So we are just making one of my most famous pasta in my region. It's called the orecchiette. So let's take a look.
Oh, geez.
Can you guys smell that? Can you guys smell that?
Yeah, just about.
This is the homemade pasta, the orecchiette, with the meatballs. We are gonna be ready pretty soon, 4 or 5 minutes. Little bit Parmesan cheese on top with the fresh basil. That's a good dish to pair with this wine today. I didn't want to say it before because I was just trying to keep my secrets, you know? And so let's see.
You guys heard it. So what we're starting to do now is, if you guys start getting hungry, or the drunchies as I call them, throughout these virtual wine tastings, you can place your orders now through DoorDash, Uber Eats. And we just figured out that, especially for you guys being troopers and driving all the way down here to our winery, we're going to be able to offer delivery now. I think it's $5, and DoorDash is going to take care of that. So that way you guys can literally just sit back, relax, and open the door whenever the time comes. But yeah, here, I'm going to end this one and go back to my normal seat.
That was that was rough. That looks so good. Hey, Harry, Jillian, I could pick you up on the way down there. So Tony, question, when do you guys plan to open up your tasting rooms again? Do you know about that?
Yeah, well, we're not real sure right now. It's, you know, the regulations are kind of changing every day right now. I know that there's some tasting rooms that are opening up and down the wine road.
Mm-hmm.
But we're kind of being cautious right now.
Yeah, makes sense.
We would love to get back to work and open the tasting room, but if it means that, you know, we get somebody sick or somebody on our team gets sick, it's kind of a balancing act right now.
Right.
So we're still in the process of kind of weighing options, going over pros and cons, that kind of thing.
So here we are in May. What exactly is keeping you guys occupied? What are you doing right now?
We're doing a lot of bottling right now.
Bottling?
Yeah, we did, let's see, we bottled probably 3,000 cases in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, it's, we're in the middle of bottling. We're just in bloom for all the vines. So we manage 30 acres of vineyard in the Hill Country AVA. And then we work with 27 families total, outsourcing grapes. So we're checking on all of our vineyards, making sure we're getting through bloom properly, and just kind of seeing the conditions, fruit set, what we're going to get for the upcoming harvest in about 3 months. It'll start. But other than that, a lot of bottling is going on.
What do you source from Central Texas mostly? Is that where your Mourvedre comes from, or is that also?
No, most of our Mourvedre comes from the Texas High Plains and the Hill Country AVA. We do a lot of, let's see, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon. We get a spot of Merlot from across the street from our tasting room. Pinot, we do a little bit of Petit Verdot, mostly red fruits that we're looking for.
Okay.
And what do you have any new wine releases for the summer? Note that we don't love the classics. We love the classics, but I'm wondering if there's anything new coming out that we should be looking forward to.
Summer? Yeah, actually we're doing, hold on just a second. We did a second version of this Wanderer series, which is going to be a Cinsault blend, if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
That, yeah. So it's mostly Cinsault from the 2019 vintage with a little bit of Mourvedre in it to give it a little bit of a body to it. Where this was sort of a collaboration with Craig Collins, Master Somm out of Austin. And so because of the coronavirus, we are donating all the profits to Southern Smoke Foundation. It's a, it benefits the Texas food and beverage industry, to kind of, you know, help out people that are furloughed or lost their job during this pandemic.
There was a large article this morning about that in the Statesman.
Yeah,
I think it might have been a whole page.
We're pretty excited.
Super cool that you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Hey Tony, since you guys work with so much Mourvedre and have been doing it for a while, how do you sort of see the difference in styles between, say, the typical French, Rhone style Mourvedre and even some of the U.S. like Paso style Mourvedre? How is Texas? How does it express differently?
It expresses, it's more like a Pinot Noir. Like if you have a Mourvedre from Bandol, it's going to be closer to that Cabernet Sauvignon. It's going to be really dark, really rich. But the way that we make Mourvedre here is more like an Oregon Pinot Noir. It's sort of lighter. The body is still there, but it's sort of lighter. With the high pH winemaking, you're going to have a lot of fresh fruit aromas. You're not necessarily going to be able to age it, the 20, 30-year bottle. but it's going to be approachable, a little bit younger, and a little bit more fruit forward.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit less. Some of the ones I'd had from like out in California, there was like some really big chocolate sort of flavors.
Yeah.
And it was a little more fruit here than I was getting. A little, there's still some, but not as sort of prominent.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot more fruit forward, a lot more acidity to it, I think. I always compare Mourvèdre in other regions to like a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's rich, it's bold, it's got a lot of those, a little bit of pyrazine thing going on. And you still have that in Texas. It's a lot of sage most of the time. A little bit of those herbal notes, but it's like a fruit bomb. It's cherry and cranberry, really good acid.
It drinks really well by itself, actually. I mean, I know that it'll go well with food, but I'm sitting here just enjoying it by itself.
This one, yeah, I like this one. I mean, I'm part Italian, so I'm always gonna lean towards like just simple dishes, like pasta with a pomodoro sauce or something like that. Something kind of go with this, but by itself, it's really good too.
Yeah. Not getting a lot of, I noticed it was black pepper and stuff in Zinfandels. It's not so, there's not so much of that in here, which I kind of like. I'm not really a jammy fan or anything that's like too peppery. This is, not blowing smoke. This is good. This is really nice.
Yeah, with any grape, if you keep it on the vine, I say too long, but some people like those sort of jammy flavors. We like to pick a little bit earlier than most, so you preserve those fresh fruits a little bit more, and it's approachable a little bit younger.
I noticed that you got Sangiovese from two different places. Was there any difference to that, or is it just the necessary of where you sourced it?
There's a little bit different. Like I said, those two vineyards are maybe 2 miles apart.
Oh, okay.
There's not a huge difference, but the Phillips Sangiovese is sort of the Phillips family. Tony and Madonna are kind of long-term partners for us, and they do an outstanding job for Sangiovese. We get Sangiovese and Cherry National from them, and always on point with everything. The Nara Sangiovese was sort of a mid-harvest pickup. The fruit looked really good. The entire growing season, the vineyard looked really good. So we kind of said, hey, let's get 10 tons of this and 10 tons of that.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
All right, cool, Tony. I was gonna be like, Tony, are you drinking with us? wanted to make sure.
He is. Taylor, you asking a question?
Yeah. So I was curious about the artwork on the label.
Good question.
So this is Chris Kelly from Vintel out of Austin. We came up with this Wanderer series idea, and we didn't really have a label for it. So I've known Chris Kelly for a while, and we sat down, had about 3 bottles of wine over a pizza. Kind of came up. I was just throwing ideas out at him. I was, can I get something that looks like a Ralph Steadman kind of a painting? And he came up with some really cool ideas, and we chose this one.
And I'm guessing this is supposed to be kind of the grapevine. Do y'all do that certain trellis system?
Say it one more time.
Is this supposed to be like the vine in the ground, the orange part? Because it kind of looks like that. I can't remember the name of that trellis system style.
Yeah, so this is actually on all of our labels. The vine is on all of our labels. It was drawn by one of our founders, Bill Blackman. He was the William part of William Chris. So I wanted to, we were trying to do something creative and sort of an offshoot of William Chris, but keeping with the William Chris theme. So that's where I wanted sort of a paint splatter kind of a thing, but holding true to the brand with the vine in the middle. And
That's really cool.
You did say offshoot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, outside of Wanderlust and the wine club, where are we going to see this?
See this one?
Yeah.
There's a couple of different restaurants in Austin. I'm not sure who carries this one, but I think you can pick it up in like Twin Liquors, that kind of thing, or you can order it online too.
Yeah.
So Tony, are you at the winery right now?
Yeah, I'm in the lab right now.
Ooh, can we get a little tour? There we go.
Yeah.
That's the lab? Oh, that's so cool.
This is our lab / office / break room. So there's a lot of wine samples everywhere. True stuff.
I mean, if you need any people to sample your wines, I think we've got 18 or 17 different participants here on the call that would be more than willing to be market testers.
How do we raise hand on here?
I mean, I think the biggest question a lot of people have is, or I guess the desire everyone has on these virtual calls is, they want to have that connection with these different wineries and winemakers so that then when the time comes and they're able to make the trek down there to the hill country or wherever it is that our wine tastings take people, are you there usually on site? Are you there in the tasting room during the certain days where they can come and meet you in person and you can give them a grand tour of the winery? Or are there wine tours available at William Chris?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not in the tasting room on a regular basis, but I'm usually on property almost 7 days a week. It feels like so. If you come in at any time, you can ask for me, and I'm probably there.
So when the state of Texas was like, stay at home and work, you were like, I'm already stuck at the winery anyway. So you're just.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, we're doing a lot of bottling right now, and you can't really take a break from this because you kind of have to capture the wine at a certain point. The production crew comes in. There's 5 of us. We come in 5 days a week. And kind of knock things out. And our tasting room staff has been great. So we're keeping all of our tasting room staff on, and I've kind of absorbed some of those guys, and they're learning how to rack barrels and do SO2 ads and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Do you guys have some type of event or festival during the year? Somebody here on the call actually had mentioned to me how, I think it was you, Kathy, you were talking about how a certain winery does a really cool grape stomp right before harvest.
Two different ones. I really like that. I've been out to William Chris. I actually have a niece that works out there, Madison.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's my sweetheart. But
she's here today, by the way.
Oh, is she? Yeah. I know she told me she was working, so she keeps busy. I told her I had a group of girls that were going to come out before all this virus, and it was like, oh my God, so we can't go out. But yeah, I love to do the grape stomps. I've gone to different wineries that do that, and that would be something I'd love to see. I know when Chris has higher end, and I've been out to there to your facilities a couple of times, and love the wines. But doing a grape stomp is fun. It's something that I enjoy, and I know a lot of them have done it just a grape stomp, and then a lot of them have done it on a T-shirt, which kind of makes it nice, and have something from William Chris, and be kind of cool.
Yeah, we do. So we do. Ours is called a grape punch. We do.
Okay.
Yeah, and you get to come out, and I'll put you to work for about 30, 45 minutes.
Oh, I'll do it.
Red grapes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually, Ron Yates, I've actually planted the Tempranillo vines out there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I went out a good day just to do that.
Okay, you can come out any time and I'll put you to work. That's fine.
Oh, I'll do it. I'm retired, so I enjoyed learning more about wines. Yeah. And that's why I actually worked the wine competition that Sammy and I met at. And it was really interesting. I kind of stood back to listen to what the judges were saying,
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of interested me a little bit more, kept me going. I started, in California, drinking the wines, and then the Rieslings is what it was at first, and it was sweet. And then I thought, oh, that just doesn't taste good that much all sweet. Then I got into my drier wines. And this one's great. I love it. I love the Italian. I actually have one of the other bottles here from William Chris.
Oh, I can't see that. What does it say?
Enchanté.
Yeah.
Oh, Enchanté, yeah. That's a good one.
And I haven't opened it, but I'm going to go to it. My husband and I have to drink it together, So, but it's one thing I like to enjoy. I like the different wineries. I love to go. We were in Fredericksburg, I guess, 2 years ago, and we stopped there at William Chris on a Saturday morning at 11 o'clock when you opened up, and it was awesome.
Well, thank you for supporting us. Yeah, it's been really amazing over the past 5 to 6 years to see the growth, not only the growth, but the quality kind of jump up and down this road. It's been pretty amazing.
As Vito promised, we've got what?
Orecchiette with meatballs that we call polpette.
You're killing me. You're absolutely killing me. Sammy.
Yes. 30 minutes, okay?
I was thinking about Katie. So about the fact that she was saying that she loves Italian. I hope it's just about food. I know that you're married, I'm kidding. And we are just enjoying with you guys. So whenever you will be able to enjoy with us in the Wanderlust Wine, or maybe just on your sofa, you can order online, and maybe you can come to pick up. So we will be more than happy to make you happy. I give you a real Italian experience.
Awesome.
When Vito was saying, can the heel of the boot and Wanderlust come together in partnership and work something out at the winery, I was like, I got 2 awesome Italian chefs that are good looking. It's a done deal. Let's go. Let's do it. It was truly their passion, But it's also the fact that the wine is a female-driven market, and I was like, man, if I got some eye candies right here, let's do this. Let's do this. I mean, you look at me, folks. I got the quarantine Lord Farquaad look going on, so I gotta can't wait until the hair salons finish or finally open up. But
it's funny.
So we're doing the pairing now. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said I like how you're pimping your chefs. Like, look at them, right here.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Pimping my chefs.
So, Sammy, eating in front of the rest of us is completely unfair. So every bite you take, you need to step away.
It is killing me. It's killing me. I'm like, okay, I think I have to drive down there and get 2 orders of this stuff.
Well, you guys can order. What do you have? You should have the 15% off coupons.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking to all the people that today they are enjoying the webinar. You guys have the 20% discount on all the orders, on all the menu that we have.
Yeah, but how far north do you deliver?
Look at
where
y'all at.
I mean, we
I'm
don't
not driving down there on a Saturday.
I'm missing Kyle. Come serve it to me.
We can arrive until, I will say, Domain. We don't go to Waco, of course, but
we
can understand this period where if it takes a little bit longer, but it's a schedule. I mean, we still are able to deliver.
Come down there, and I'll sit 6 feet away from y'all.
10 minutes.
There you go.
Y'all can come in. I mean, we're at 25% occupancy now, so I think you're.
You're open a restaurant. How does that work?
So we're not a restaurant, but they are. So it's an interesting dynamic. But we've got, I mean, we have plenty of space here. Our capacity, a full capacity for the whole lot is around 125. So you're talking about a good 30 people. You said, what is that, 20? About 30 people, I would say. My math's not working too well after some delicious Wanderer Series Italian blend, but is it 30? Oh man, on the money. I think so.
Yeah, basically it's organized with a mobile kitchen in the patio. So there's a mobile kitchen where basically we make sure that we make all the food. We don't have any contact, of course, with the customer. So we are basically organized to keep the distance Because that right now is the most important thing. So that's also important.
So once this fully lifts, I mean, Vito's going to be hosting some pasta making classes. So if you guys want to learn how to make this, how do you say orchestra?
Orecchietta.
Orecchietta.
That means little ears.
Little ears.
Oh.
That means ears. Yeah.
So we'll bring Tony back on, and he'll talk about a new blend we'll have at that point. Hopefully the next in the Wanderer series, and then we'll have Vito showing how to do it. You know, and you guys haven't seen Julio. That's his assistant chef.
Yeah, we did actually saw him when you went into the
Perfect. So Vito, if people were interested in grabbing some of this pasta, how can they order it then with the 20% off?
They can order by right now. I'm using Grab, Uber Eats, and DoorDash, and of course I have my phone number that people can contact me directly to deliver to them. And I'm my website is still coming with a direct menu on it. So I have my phone number available, my email, my contact, so I can basically take care of orders on my own.
Okay.
Sorry, before we lose Tony, I have a self-serving question. One of our favorite sort of secret wine finds was back out in Central California, Charlie Vineyards. They do a lot of single vineyard Zinfandel. When they get to the bottom of the barrel or the bottom of the tank, they tend to, at the end of the day of bottling, they just blend all what's left together and put it together under a second label called Red Velvet and sell it for much cheaper than their regular bottles go for.
Really?
That with your Mourvedres?
Say that last part one more time. You kind of
so they take basically whatever's left over from all their single vineyard, bottlings, and there's a little bit left over in barrels and tanks and stuff like that, and they blend it all together, and then bottle it under a second label that's only available at the winery for about half the price of their regular wines or less. And it's quite delicious actually, and it's a great bargain. I was wondering if you guys might do something like that with your Mourvedres.
We kind of do that just anyway with our Mourvedre. So as we're racking barrels or filling barrels, you're not always going to have the exact amount that needs to go into a barrel, right? So you'll have 20 gallons less, maybe 10 gallons less. So you'll take a different vineyard of Mourvedre, you'll put it in that barrel, which it doesn't really typically amount to a much percentage. It's like 0.1%, but you always have that. If you can't really call it cross-contamination, but it's a blending, but not really blending. So you always have that kind of a little bit of an interesting blend on most of our Mourvedres.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if you guys end up with you're bottling X amount of cases and stuff like this, and there's still a little bit left in the tank or something like that. Do you guys end up just sort of going, all right, well, let's just put this in with that stuff over here from yesterday and, call it, Frankenstein, egg.
Jeez.
Bottle it and make it available to people at the winery.
No, we don't typically do that. Sometimes we'll break off a couple of barrels of this, couple of barrels of that, and that's what goes into our Skeleton Key brand. So our Skeleton Key Red is it's usually a blend that, is not very typical. Like the last one was Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah with Tempranillo in it. So that's not typical. We'll kind of blend a couple of barrels together if we think that it's going to help the wine. Yeah. I love Charlie, by the way. I met that guy probably 3 months ago or so.
Oh, yeah.
The winemaker. We had sort of a winemaker round table with a couple guys, the guy, Mark and the guy from Charlie. It was really fun.
Yeah, well, if you go out to the winery in Paso, they make available at the tasting room only this stuff. It's labeled Red Velvet.
Red Velvet.
And they sell it for $12 a bottle, $10 a bottle if you buy a case. And it's all totally Zinfandel. Just
$8 if you drink it right in front of them.
Blend of their so highly recommend it.
Very cool. All right. I think we doesn't look like we've got many questions off on the side. But I've enjoyed this tremendously. This is a wine I would buy again. I like this a lot. So actually, that said, is this a one-time thing? This particular blend is not going to be made again?
No, not necessarily. I don't think there'll be the exact percentages.
Okay.
We never rule out making the wine a couple of times over.
Okay.
This specific blend probably won't happen again, but we're gonna do Nebbiolo, we're gonna do Zinfandel, we're gonna do Sangiovese. Maybe they'll go together, maybe they won't. That's the beauty of this sort of Wanderer series line, is that you get to be creative and kind of play with a couple of things that you don't usually get to do.
Cool.
Very cool.
I like the different blends, different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this one. So, yeah. Hey, Sammy, do you have more of it?
I definitely do. This time around,
30 minutes from me.
This time we did stock up. We got some more of the ready Vineyards blend, Italian blend as well. So this could be a nice comparison if you guys wanted to go and revisit that one. I got a big. So it'll be a nice one. That's this one, even though it's a standalone wine that you can drink on its own because of that nice freshness, that nice acidity. Mm-hmm. I feel I'm leaning more towards it being a gastronomic kind of wine, one that needs a little bit of food. Maybe I was just hungry right now, but it's a beautiful wine. I think you guys did an amazing job. Obviously, as more time progresses in the glass, the evolution continues to occur, and you get more of this of a complex blend here happening in your glass. That funk blew off, so if you're interested in more of that style wine, you get that in the beginning, then it starts to become more fruit forward, more sour red cherry towards the end of it. So if you guys have a decanter, definitely helps with that a little bit. But as you were mentioning, it could definitely benefit with maybe a year or two more of aging, of resting. But we ain't got time. It's time to drink. I want to drink now. So decanted, I would say a day before, maybe giving it a little bit more of that oxygen opportunity to breathe. But yeah, Tony, thank you so much, man. This has been awesome to connect with you guys. One of the coolest things is, you guys are becoming more and more popular to obviously control your production levels and stuff like this and price points. You guys become more exclusive. So it's great to have an opportunity for us that I think most of us are not wine club members here, but if you are, you guys are lucky. But giving us an opportunity for the outsiders to try something exclusive. Then, like I said, I hope you guys will want to work with us and then have something exclusive here on tap at our winery. Mini plug. So I'll flip this. We just installed our tap walls. You guys can kind of see it from a distance there, but we've got
that looks cool. More.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I was there yesterday. It's really beautiful.
I was
56 wines on tap. Also 4, so that means you guys can go and pour your own glasses of wine, and you're only charged by the ounce. So y'all be careful, though. I trust you guys, so you guys gotta be responsible. And we'll limit.
I'll just one of them.
But William Chris, like I said, is a staple, and I'm a diehard fan because of the fact that you guys were the one that I defended to the French, and obviously the French can be a little intense on their criticism. So since day one, I was like, these guys are doing a phenomenal job, and to have you guys on board with our commercial taste, it's an honor. So thank you so much. And go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We started out with 400 cases that first year, and now we're at 35,000 cases. So it's been a long road, but
wow.
Thank you for supporting us.
Absolutely. And funny enough, little side story. I was actually going to be a part of y'all's winemaking team back in 2000. And Taylor, when did I meet you? Or did she log off already?
Oh, no, I'm here. That was, 2019. No, 2019.
2019. Yeah. So I had tried to apply for the 19 harvest. Was it 19?
No,
maybe
it was 18. It was 18. Yeah.
18 harvest, and then I think I was talking to Chris, and he's like, "All right, man, you ready to come in?" I was like, "Well, actually, I'm gonna go to Oregon." And then, funny enough, we both frequented the same bar. Whenever I would get off a shift, I would go to this bar, and he came to Oregon. So I think he's a Pinot fan. So he was visiting the area, and I was like, "Man, there's so many missed chances of us connecting." And I was like, "Finally's the time, you know, after it's all done here at Wanderlust, we can finally come together and collaborate and work together on some things." So, yeah.
You're missing out, man.
I know. Life could have been different, right?
Sammy, you really couldn't have gone too much further back in time. Otherwise, you'd have been 12 when you were working out there.
Back in time, baby. But yeah,
because we have two Psalms on our in our organization that both just turned 21.
Wow.
How did you guys do all of your research and studying? I think that's called underage drinking.
Yeah. Richard.
It was all theoretical. How about that?
Abroad.
It was all theoretical. Yeah, they did it abroad. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Man, and I think coming up for some future excitement, I think next week we might be, oh, Greg, there you go. They loved it so much they just finished the bottle. That's a compliment, Tony. That's awesome, man. I think in France, it's like if you finish the bottle, you either get married or have a baby at the end of the year. So there you go.
Probably.
So, but they got a puppy. They got a cute little puppy there on camera. Mrs. Odessa. So looking forward to some upcoming virtual wine tastings. We're in the works. I mean, especially as things start to become, I guess we're one of the first aggressive states to try to like get off of the quarantine phase. But more and more producers are now trying to focus on having stuff on site. And so that limits our opportunities, the great opportunities we've had. So we're working even more closely now with the different winemaking teams from different producers that we can get this personal connection and up and close conversation. But to get you guys excited, I think next week might be Topless Creek, which is a company that came out of Chateau Beaucastel. So if you guys are familiar with that great producer, this is their, Harry, you were telling me all about that last time. So I was like, yo, Topless Creek, you know, we're looking into having them, their winemaker, talk to us next weekend. And then what else? We're also trying to lock in.
So we still would like to do Inwood, Sammy, but like you and I talked, times are just so expensive that, we'd like to do it when we can maybe share $100 bottle or something like that across all of us. Because I think 87 bucks was the cheapest one I found that they still had, and they went all the way up to 218 bucks. So, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon drinking by myself. I'm not going to do that. So once we're able to share these, I think we'll bring the Inwood guys in there, Dan Gatlin, who is an extremely well-respected guy. And, we'd love to hear from him and taste his wines, but, they're a little less approachable than some of the others.
Yeah, I met Dave at the wine competition, and we talked for a while, and he told me about his wines, which my daughter lives up in Dallas, so we were able to go in there and taste some wines too.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh yeah, I know your wines."
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to see to get us, maybe the guys from Lost Straw and Tony back on and do the Umaveds from the Lost Straw Vineyards and do a comparison where it's basically the winemaking style is different, not the grapes or the growing region, because they're both from the same, vineyard.
Interesting.
Have you the Narrow Path?
No, Lost Straw, I think. Yeah, Lost Straw Cellars. And
there's another one called Narrow Path out in Fredericksburg. It's down from Garrison Brothers. Okay. Has a beautiful view. And their wines are good.
And they have a Mourvèdre from Lost Straw Vineyards as well, or? I'm
not sure on that.
Now, Sammy, in his 27 country travels, did make some other connections. So I want to talk to his Champagne connection.
Oh, absolutely.
I also got somebody on my Facebook that he's a master of wine from South Africa. So we'd like to, I'd like to find some wines from South Africa that we can source, and then have him or one of the winemakers there talk about those.
For sure. We definitely want to do hopefully do maybe 2 virtual tastings, whether that's, getting together and streaming it over the internet, Texas Backroads tastings and international Backroads tastings. So we got it up and loaded on our website. If you go to our website, Austin, Texas Wine Society, you could go to Texas Tastings, and you'll be able to see the past tastings that we've held via video, and then also the international ones. We got Oregon, and we got Ricardo from Spain uploaded, and we'll have the William Chris uploaded as soon as we get this rocking and rolling and get it uploaded. But yeah, we kind of want to keep on doing this thing. I know, pre-COVID-19, this was weird, but now it's, just a thing of norm. So I know a lot of people that reached out and said they would like to continue the online tastings. That way they can drink at home. So we're definitely looking to do more of these.
Yeah, I mean, when you're finishing a bottle and the bed is right there, these tastings get a little intense. These tastings do get a little intense. But as they were saying, Tony, I think a great thing that I would like to do is, have Lost Draw kind of have their wine sent to us, and then we do a comparison with your Lost Draw Mourvedre, and that way we can, because from my understanding, obviously, like, you guys are buying the grapes from these vineyards, and so it'd be a great comparison for people to understand how sometimes the art of winemaking can be better than terroir, as people would say, and so, I mean, obviously that's what we're trying to find out. I'm not saying that you guys are better or they're better. That's what we would have in front of us to make that determination ourselves and see, like, you guys are buying the grapes from them and creating a phenomenal product versus them just creating the wines themselves. And so, like, you bring in that aspect of the art of winemaking into play. And yeah, it'd be a great cross tasting essentially.
I've had them both and they're both good. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I would do that any day of the week.
Yeah.
So Sammy, if you're going to do these comparisons, are you going to put them on tap or are we going to have to buy bottles?
We'll have to buy bottles. Yeah, we'll have to buy bottles. I mean, if I could I just need 26 bottles to then put in a keg, essentially, with some inert gas, so that we can rig it up, Jimmy rig it, but and that way you guys can sample. We can do Inwood, at that price. That way you guys are paying by the ounce. But of course, like, I don't want to take away from the prestige and all the time that these winemakers and wineries spent on their bottles and labels. So we'll leave them as they were originally intended. So we'll have the 2 bottles, and that way it's more Instagram friendly. So y'all can tell your friends what you guys thought was the winner. But yeah, I like it, Tony. Challenge accepted. Let's see who made the best Mourvedre. Same place, 2 different winemakers, and then it's truly based on the art of winemaking at this point, because the terroir's there. It's expressive. It's a matter of who did a better job of bringing that expression out, So
for sure, yeah.
But
Tony,
yeah. But with that, guys,
there is something to be said for that, Sammy. I mean, I wrote about Le Croix Saint Georges, I guess a year or 2 ago, and those run between $40 and $90. But 2 rows down is the fruit where Chateau Le Pin gets sourced, and so that's $4,000 to $5,000 for a bottle. So there'd be something to be said to what the winemaker is doing versus the fruit, because I mean, micro terroir I understand, but 2 rows down.
Yeah. I mean, it's
adequate reaction right there with the whistle.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, I mean, just one last little thing. I mean, so if my sense is that there's not as many growers in Texas yet, I mean, or of high quality growers as there would be, let's say, in California or in France or somewhere else like this. So there's more chance, in my thinking, that you're going to have this opportunity, at least right now, of multiple vineyards making a similar product from the same, multiple wineries, making a similar product from the same vineyard,
the same grape,
whether it's a Tempranillo or a Mourvedre or a Sangiovese or Cabernet or a Merlot or whatever. That right now we have an opportunity where there's probably a chance that you guys and Coleman make a wine from the same vineyard, or Ron Yates and Pedernales make a wine from the same vineyard. That kind of a thing. I think we're You think that's an accurate thinking?
Oh, yeah, so Texas growers have evolved leaps and bounds in the past, even from last year. There's always
huge.
There's ongoing research projects constantly. There, in the past 5 years, there's been a real evolution of really great growers coming online, and some really great vineyard sites that we're working with now. And a lot of us work with the same exact fruit from the same exact vineyard, but that's all part of the terroir, right? It's winemaking is part of that. We're always going to get a different expression of that site depending on who's making it. So, but we are, every day we're getting better at it. So.
Well, I mean, as a wine drinker, as a fan, I mean, to me, that's part of the fun of this, because, it's like if I go out to California, there may be some of that happening, but it's going to be hard for me to find out if it's happening. But here in Texas right now, it's a little bit more open. And the fact that we have more winemakers than good vineyards means that I have this opportunity to go, hey, let's see how the different winemakers, as an audience member, that's fun as hell for me.
Oh yeah, and it's fun for us too, because it's always like a little friendly competition kind of a thing.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for you guys having me.
Absolutely. We'll do one last cheers here with everyone. Thank you all again. From Austin, Texas Wine Society, Wanderlust Wine Company, and William Chris Vineyards. Ooh, I almost dropped on my laptop.
I'll do that.
It's not an apple anymore, it's a grape, but wow.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Appreciate you.
My niece, Madison High for Aunt Kathy.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers,
Bye-bye now.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks. I enjoyed it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Hey, what you remind me of Scott